This week on the Hooters Tour with Lee Moore and Kim Breel. Coming up this half hour, some new players on the Hooters Tour surface to the top of the leaderboard. The tournament is shortened to 54 holes because of weather, and we'll go inside an 8-sided castle as we visit Natches, Mississippi. All that and more just ahead on This Week on the Hooters Tour.
Birdies, eagles, and now owls. You know, birds of a feather. Anyway, welcome to This Week on the Hooters Tour.
Fellow Americans, there's been a lot of talk in the press lately regarding my involvement with Hooters. Prior to my having been elected president, I enjoyed Hooters whenever I got the chance. But the integrity of this office must not be compromised by these unfounded Hooters allegations. Last November, the American people voted for change, and I'm trying to change. It's not easy, though, with all those Hooters out there. Thank you.
Earn their wings every day.
Hooters, it's not just a restaurant, it's an adventure.
Hi again, everyone, and welcome to This Week on the Hooters Tour. I'm Lee Moore.
And I'm Kim Breel.
This week, Kim, we're right here in front of a great old antebellum home. It's called Longwood. We're in Natches, Mississippi. It's the westernmost city in the state of Mississippi.
Natches, the historic capital of this great state. We're here this week at Bellwood Country Club, and it's our third time here for the Coca-Cola Classic.
Bellwood is about, 6,400 yards long. It's a golf course that's set right on the banks of the great Mississippi River, where the threat of flooding has been ever present for the last several weeks.
Again, this is the Hooters Pro Golf Tour that features the best young players in the world that are working their way to the PGA Tour.
Now, weather for really the first time in this event in the 3 years we've been here is going to be a big factor. In fact, we had one round, that was on Friday, that was completely washed out. Now, round one saw Javier Sanchez of Fayetteville, Georgia, and Brad Jones of Shreveport, Louisiana, leading off with a one-shot lead. Now, after the first 18 holes, those guys were in front. Let's check out the play from Thursday's round.
Natchez, Mississippi and the Bellwood Country Club will again host the annual Coca-Cola Classic. This event will have to be shortened to 54 holes as Old Man Weather's going to keep his head around most all week long. Still, we'll have a champion by dark Sunday, and a young man who spends his spare time riding a tractor out in the Midwest will get the biggest win of his career. Thursday comes up hot and some sunshine, and out on the course after a day's work, well, there's a lot of birdies and a few bogeys. Some of the early leaders after the first 9 holes were guys like Steve Pope, who carded a 4-under par 32 on his first 9. Also, he's been one of the most consistent players on the tour this year, as has been Ryan Howson, who's made every cut so far. Ryan had a 32 on his first 9. Now, Ryan's going to go on to finish this 18 holes just a couple of shots off the lead, as he'll come in with a 4-under par 67 on the day. Bob Ralston, one of our more senior players out of Hot Springs, Arkansas, is going to use his experience to get in with a first-round 67. Bob played the PGA Tour back in the early 80s. He is also the father-in-law of current PGA Tour player Glenn Day. Incidentally, Glenn has spent some time on the Hooters Tour. Gibby Gilbert Jr. is in the hunt early this week, and his sides of 33-33 will put him solidly in the race after the first 18 holes. In fact, Gibby is in a group of 4 that will be one shot off the lead after the first round. Mr. Consistency, Paul Claxton of Vidalia, Georgia, finds Bellwood to his liking on the first day, and Paul is going to sweet swing his way to a 4 par score on Thursday. Talk about hot playing Jimmy Green. He's going to do a little bird hunting in the first round. His 9-hole scores of 34-33 is going to leave him 2 shots in back of the leader when heavy rains will wash out Friday's round. Thursday is a complete round. It's the only day the players will stay relatively dry. Still, Woody Allen and the great people of Bellwood will provide great hospitality, and Mark Powell and his staff will work wonders to keep the course playable.
So again, your leaders after round 1, Sanchez and Jones, with 5 players at 5 under par, including Dennis Zincon of Haines City, Florida. Dennis is going to become a big factor later this week here in the Coca-Cola Classic. Some others, as a matter of fact, 9 players are at 4 under par, and in that group is 45-year-old veteran Bob Ralston from Hot Springs, Arkansas. Also in that bunch is Jimmy Green, who was a winner a week ago in Bastrop. When we come back here in Natchez, we're going to tell you about a Monday Pro-Am for the Lady Luck Casino, a Tuesday shootout, another big Pro-Am on Wednesday, and Scott McCarron's going to drop in for a visit.
We'll also tell you about a couple of long drive champions, and you'll get a taste of what it's like to live in this old southern city that was the setting a couple of years ago for the movie North and South, right after this.
Hi, I'm Kristen from Dallas Hooters. Stick around for more golf.
Everybody's getting happy at Hooters.
Table 7 in. And remember, 7, you're playing for Bud Light, ladies.
The boys are back in town.
These guys are good.
Who are you calling guys?
Yeah.
Looks like you're in the finals.
Ma'am, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
You're the defending ladies pool champion?
Yes, I am.
At Hooters, our girls earn their wings every day.
Hooters, it's not just a restaurant, it's an adventure.
Monday's Open Qualifier is going to produce about 12 players for our Coca-Cola Classic. Let's check out some of the top scores in that group of qualifiers. It was led by Bob Ralston. He had a 4 under par 67. Other guys were Paul Guido. He's from right here. He led this contingent of area guys. He had a 69. There were a pair of 71s carded by Paul McNulty and Clay Weems. Then there was Clay Arnold at 72. Ed Hossel was also in there at 72, and there were a couple of guys at 74. We might make mention also that a pair of amateurs were added to the field in a special Saturday club qualifier out at Bellwood. They were Ward Granning and Jay Leslie. They had 73 and 74 respectively in that group of qualifiers.
Then there was a big Lady Luck Casino Pro-Am Monday afternoon, Lee, and Steve Pope was the Hooters Pro whose team fired a 123 and then won on a match of cards. Members of that team were Eric Smith, Clyde Holloway, Joe Lehman, and Carl Shelley.
They had fun, I tell you. Monday evening, following that, they had a big amateur long drive contest. We had some great guys out there working at it very hard, but Gary Farmer won with a knock of about 294 yards, and for that, he got a couple of tickets, all expenses paid, out to Las Vegas.
Unbelievable. I'd like to be on that trip. Tuesday afternoon, Lee, the United Mississippi Bank shootout came down to 2 veterans. They were Craig Perks and Steve Thomas. And on the 9th hole, after both players had birdied the par 5, Thomas won the chip-off with a 60-foot shot that wound up only 2 feet from the hole. Incidentally, Thomas donated his $500 first prize to the tournament's charity, the Natches Children's Home. And before the week's over, Steve Thomas will add a couple of more hundred to his donation.
I tell you what, we appreciate what Steve does, and I'm sure that Nancy and the kids do out there. Wednesday, there were about 28 teams that took part in that big Coca-Cola Classic Pro-Am. Now, Hooters pro Dwayne Lorio led his team to victory as they posted a 122 total, just one shot better than that one on Monday. Members of that team were Tom Stewart, David Sanguinetti, also Carl Voss was there, and Al Hall. Following that event, Steve Thomas smacked a 360-yard drive. They held it on number 10, and he actually drove the green. That took top honors in that competition, and he picked up a couple of $100. Vance Feasy from Senatobia came in second, hitting his tee-ball 325 yards. So that wraps up our pre-tournament activities, Kim, and we might add again, the Hooters girls were here to help, and they came all the way from Baton Rouge. They assisted us also in that big putting contest with the money, again, going to charity. The dollars were added for the children's home.
There are so many stories, Lee, to be found in this great old city. Feature producer Diana Wheeler helped us find one of those.
I'm Jim Hughes. I'm one of the players on the Hooters tour. Natches is a great town full of history. We're trying to make a little history of our own on the boat. Right now, we're not doing so well.
Natches is anything but a sleepy little town. People come from all over to see the sights. But before we get started, a few vocabulary words. In this neck of the woods, antebellum is
a Latin word for before war. Ante and bellum is war. So these homes were all built prior to the war between the states.
And then, of course, a Natchesian is
just a person that was born and reared in Natches. And if you made your home here all your life, why, you are definitely a Natchesian.
It's a given by locals and those who have just visited. Longwood is a must-see in Natches, the largest octagonal-shaped home in the United States. Dr. Nutt, not a quack, but a millionaire, and his wife Julia, with 8 kids, started the home in 1860. Then came the war between the states, so the top floors were never completed. Some say the doctor and a few family members are still around.
The house is haunted. I've had an experience with, I don't know which one, Dr. Nutt or Julia, but psychics tell us that we have 5 ghosts here, 2 adults and 3 children. But they're not going to make me jump out of a bed that's 4 feet high, that's for sure.
Lois is here to stay, regardless of the elements. And there's a few others who prefer to have their cup of coffee right here in Natches. And just like in any historic old town, there's your mainstays, whose networking clubs that were started many moons ago and are still thriving in downtown Natches.
With the casino, the old homes, and the interesting people here, we're always going to have a good story to show and tell. A good story that has developed on this tour is about a young man who's made a strong showing early. Scott McCarron is our player profile.
He's a California-born and bred UCLA graduate. At the age of 28, McCarron is confident and angry.
My father played professional baseball for St. Louis and Chicago. He was a shortstop a few years ago. And when he decided to stop playing baseball, he took up golf very avidly. And when I was born, I played a lot of golf from about 3 years old on. So I've been playing for about 25 years.
Scott turned pro in 1991. Some of his highlights to date include being medalist in the 1993 Canadian Tour qualifying school. And he finished 5th in the 1993 Canadian Tour Payless Open. And add to that, something that, as far as we know, has never been done by anyone.
I was playing in the California Golf Tour in Alameda on the North Course there, and playing a 2-day tournament, and I had 2 holes in one. On the 4th hole, I hit a 6-iron in the hole, 1 hopped in the hole. And on the 11th hole, I hit a 7-iron in the hole, hit about 8 feet behind the hole, and spun back in. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, that's the first hole-in-ones I've ever had in my life, so playing golf for 25 years and have 2 in the same day, it was pretty amazing. I'm not even sure what the odds are on that.
Some guys are looking for quick results. Scott has given himself 5 years to accomplish his goals.
Golf, like in life, you go through a lot of ups and downs, and you got to really take all the experiences with a grain of salt and learn from them. And I've been to tour school twice now and learned a lot. And over the last year and a half, that's all I've been doing is playing. And I've learned a lot of things on the golf course, how I handle myself under certain situations, and hopefully take that experience to the next level on the PGA Tour. Well, if I'm making progress, in that 5 years and I still feel like I can make it, I'm going to keep playing. Which I probably will. I mean, I'm playing some pretty good golf now, and I've had some success on the Canadian Tour and so far here this year on the Jordan Tour, that I feel I can play out there. So after 5 years, if I'm still making that progress on the upward climb, I'll probably keep playing if I can talk my wife into it.
In years past, Scott has had a sponsor, but this year he's footing the bill himself, something he says can put added pressure on you, but in the same breath, could make you perform better.
Very difficult. I think that puts a lot of pressure on yourself when you don't have a sponsor and you got to keep winning to continue. Earlier this year I was in that same situations, and for some reason I seemed to play really well, and I won quite a few events back in California to keep me going.
And Scott's biggest highlight has to be his recent announcement of the first addition to his family. That's a few months away. And just a couple of minutes away, we'll have the final 2 rounds from the Coca-Cola Classic in Natches, Mississippi.
Hi, I'm Humana from the Baton Rouge Hooters. Stick around for more of our great golfers.
So I said to Henny, of course chickens are more important to Hooters than owls.
Who?
Chickens, that's who.
I beg to differ.
Well, beg all you want. Without chickens, there'd be no chicken sandwiches or chicken salad, or Hooters' famous chicken wings. There'd be no Hooters if it weren't for chicken.
It's really not wise to even argue the point.
That's because I'm right.
No, that's because you're not going to be around long anyway. Chicken.
Naturally fresh, simply delicious. Just wait and see. You'll taste the quality. The quality, preservative free. We always have been, always will be. Naturally, it's simply delicious. Naturally fresh. It's a lifestyle.
Are you still drinking the old thing? Try the next thing, Powerade. With 33% more carbos than Gatorade and a taste you can really slam. Powerade, the next thing.
Earlier, we mentioned former Canadian Tour player Dennis Zinkhan. 9-hole scores of 31-33 is going to give him a lead and a 2-round total of 130.
Second round at Bellwood Golf and Country Club started with the sun peeping through the somewhat overcast skies. Bob Ralston from Hot Springs, Arkansas, continued where he left off Friday. After posting a 67 in round 1, Ralston birdied the first hole on his way to a 6-under par round 66, and a 2-day total of -9. John Smith of Perry, Georgia also had a good round following Friday's play. He too birdied the short par 4 number 1 on his way to a 68 and a 2-day total of 136 or 6 under par. Doug Barron of Memphis, Tennessee had things rolling in round 2. This birdie at the par 5 number 9 was won on his way to a 64 or 8 under par for the day. He'll head into round 3 strokes off the lead. Play was once again suspended as thunder and rain poured in around lunchtime. After about an hour-and-a-half delay, the players headed back out. Gibby Gilbert Jr. of Chattanooga, Tennessee, was another Hooters pro who found Bellwood to his liking. He'll fire a 67 in round 2, and he'll go into Sunday at -9, 3 shots out. Bo Fennell of Statesboro will post a 69. He's at -3 for the tournament. Curtis Worley, a name we're familiar with, he's currently 34th on the money list. This par at number 4 was part of his 66, as he'll post a 2-day total of -6. Greg Parker posted a 2-under par 70 today. He sits at -4 for the tournament. 3 other pros shooting 68s in round 2 included Vance Veazey of Senatobia, Mississippi, Dickie Thompson of Peachtree City, Georgia, and Mike Schwartz of Phoenix, Arizona. The 2-day leader, though, was Dennis Zinkhan of Haines City, Florida. His Eagle 3 at number 9 contributed to his 8-under par round of 64. He's at -12 going into Sunday's final round. After 2 rounds of play, Dennis Zinkin is at the top of the leaderboard with a 130 total or minus 12. Doug Barron of Memphis, Tennessee is at a logjam of guys at 133. Along with Doug, you have Matt Ewing, Gibby Gilbert Jr., Paul Claxton, Bob Ralston, and Walter Hall. Again, those guys 3 back at minus 9. Chip Drury of Atlanta, Georgia fired a 66 today, and he's in at minus 8. Some other names to keep an eye on: Jason Shook of Orlando, Winston Walker from Huntsville, Alabama, Scott McCarron, and Curtis Worley.
Zinkin again has a 3-shot lead, but there are 15 players within 6 strokes of the leader as our Hooter Tour players chase that $15,000 check.
A couple of new names in position to win at Bellwood Country Club: Dennis Zinkin from Haines City, Florida, and Doug Barron of Memphis, Tennessee. Zinkin started the final round at minus 12 and a 3-stroke lead over 6 other players. Gibby Gilbert Jr. was one of those at minus 9. After 2 rounds in the 60s, Gibby will fire a 2-under par 70 today. He'll finish tied for 11th. Jimmy Green from Mobile, Alabama turned with a 29 and was seemingly on his way to winning back-to-back tournaments. He birdies number 12 and plays par golf in to shoot a 10-under par 62. He needed one more birdie, though, as he finishes in 3rd place with a 199 3-day total. Doug Barron had a shot at the title as well. Just 3 back, Barron was looking for a hot streak. Unfortunately, he found more pars than birdies and will shoot a 71 today for a 204 total. Dennis Zinkin will hold on to the 1st place lead he started with, and he will finish with a 68, tied with Matt Ewing of Seton, Illinois, whose 65 today puts him in a playoff. Play would be suspended late in the day, pushing the 2-way playoff with Ewing and Zinkin on the course at sundown. In fact, staff members and galleries drove their car to the first playoff hole, had the headlights on so these 2 guys could see to finish the playoff. It would be Matt Ewing, though, who will birdie the first playoff hole and sew up the championship.
We certainly pushed it to the limit with the time. I've definitely played a few holes in the dark back home. There's no doubt about that. It takes a lot of mental toughness to win at this sport anytime. But you know, maybe the way the circumstances went, maybe it did favor me. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure about that. I just know that I'm ecstatic about the way I played this week and really looking forward to continuing and having a great year out here.
The final leaderboard in Natches looks like this. Matt Ewing finishes 1st with Dennis Zinkin coming in 2nd. Jimmy Green will cash $5,000 for his 62 and 3rd place finish. Jason Shook of Orlando, Florida is in at 4th, while 6 guys are tied for 5th at 202. They are Dickie Thompson, Mike Swartz, Scott McCarron, Walter Hall, and Chip Drury and Paul Claxton.
So Sunday's final round, Kim, out there at the Bellwood Country Club, produced a great champion at the 3rd annual Coca-Cola Classic. And once again, it's going to shake up our lineup of points and money.
That's right, Lee. And when we return, we'll take a look at the money and point stats, and we'll have another tip to help your game and check a rule that just could help you the next time out.
Hi, this is Natalie from Hooters in New Orleans. We'll be right back here in Natchez.
Our girls earn their wings every day.
Hooters, it's not just a restaurant, it's an adventure.
Fellow Americans, I've taken this airtime today to clear up a few misconceptions that have been in the press lately regarding my wife's involvement with Hooters. At no time prior to or since my having been elected president has my wife invested in Hooters. My wife has made some investments from time to time, and she does have some stock holdings. She has some IBM and some General Motors and some mutual funds, but she does not have any Hooters. Thank you.
One of the best putters on the Hooters Tour is Charlie Whittington. How does he do it? Well, he uses spots. Charlie?
Hello, my name is Charlie Whittington. I play on the Hooters Golf Tour, and my tip of the week this week is putting. And one thing I like to do when I putt is I spot putt. I find a spot between me and the hole that is my intended target towards the hole. And your spot could be anything from a ball mark, it could be a piece of dead grass, it could be whatever you're aiming at to help you bring your putter back and through down the line towards your intended target. I think if you try this and practice it, you'll definitely make a couple more putts.
Speaking of tips, let's see where our Hooters rules officials are today as they help us each week to better understand the rules of the game.
Today's tip, we're going to be covering searching for and identifying a ball in a hazard. Under Rule 12-1, if a player's ball is completely covered by sand or loose impediments in a hazard, the player is entitled to, by probing or raking, to remove as much of the sand or loose impediment which will enable him to see a part of his ball. Let me give you an example. You've hit your shot and it's headed towards the green side bunker. You see the sand fly, the spectators moan, so you know the ball's in the bunker. You get to the bunker, no balls to be seen. Under this rule, you are entitled to probe or rake and remove enough of the loose impediments or sand which will enable you to see a small part of the ball. Now, should you find out that this ball is not yours after you play it, remember Rule 15-3, you cannot play a wrong ball from a hazard. So if you're having trouble sleeping tonight, read this, the best sleeping pill I know. See you next week.
So following 6 big events out here, here's what our top 10 players on the money list look like.
Okay, Lee, let's take a look at the top 10 official money list. Jimmy Green is in at number 1 with almost $30,000. Dickie Thompson is second with almost $25,000, and here's the rest. Claxton, Steve Thomas, McCarron, and then you have Pope, Smallridge, Ewing, Swartz, and Andrew Morse. And in the chase for our $100,000 Naturally Fresh Bonus Award to be presented at season's end, the Coca-Cola Classic created a few changes from a week ago. This week in the $100,000 Naturally Fresh bonus race, Scott McCarron has a 34-point lead over Dickie Thompson. Green, Smallridge, and Morse are in the top 5, with Ryan Howison, Thomas, Claxton, Brian Gorman, and John Huff rounding out your top 10.
Well, unfortunately, Kim, it's that time again, you know, when we have to say goodbye to the friends and neighbors we have made here in Natchez. So, for the great people out there at Coca-Cola, our main sponsor, the members of this club, the volunteers, Woody Allen, and all the great people that help him each time we're here. Just a fantastic week again, and you know, we really mean it when we say we love the people in Natchez.
Next week, Lee, it's on to the Big D. We'll be at the Shores Country Club in Rockwall, a Dallas suburb. See you next week, right here.
Yep, that's right here on This Week on the Hooters Tour. So long, everybody.
This Week on the Hooters Tour is brought to you by Hooters Restaurants. Hooters, delightfully tacky yet unrefined. Naturally Fresh Foods. Naturally fresh, preservative-free salad dressings, sauces, and dips. And by Bud Light. Won't fill you up, never lets you down. Our thanks to the host hotels in Natchez, Mississippi, the Howard Johnson, and the River Park Hotel Best Western.
Check us out next week, same time, same channel, for more exciting golf. And maybe we'll throw in a chicken wing or two.